Alright guys, so this is the wide body kit here. Comes shipped on a pallet. All the pieces and parts are there, so we'll unpackage that shortly. Jumping over to the Bronco, so this is my 2023 Ford Bronco Wildtrak model. Installing the Fun Haver off-road wide body kit really entails replacing these front body panels, the fender flares here, and it's going to be a sort of a wider swoop down front panel there that replaces that. And same sort of deal on the back. You'll replace the back panels here, replace the gas cap with a new one, which I'm not too excited about the gas cap that came with the wide body kit. I like the functionality of this one. You can press to open and whatnot. I've heard some issues with the other gas cap, but we'll get into that once we install it. But anyway, yeah, same thing in the back. Replace the back panel, fender flares, and it's also got a piece here that sort of follows the flow of the wide body kit that will attach to the front, back door on each side. So really, I think the main thing here is as far as workflow is you got to take the top off, the entire top off, take all the front and rear panels off. Now this small piece on the back here will actually stay on, and yeah, so the top will come off, take the front and rear panels off, all the fender flares, and then really it's just a bolt-on application. For the wide body kit. I think there's some light trimming involved from some of the forums I've seen online. You'll need to do some trimming around the wheel wells here a little bit, just mainly for aesthetic purposes, but if you're going to run larger wheels, you may need to do that. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and jump into it. So it's going to kind of be a multi-phase video. I'll do it in steps. So first things first, let's start tearing this guy down. So let's get into it. So if you've never taken the fender flares off, there's really these little levers here. They rotate, and you just turn all those and then sort of pop them off. Sounds kind of bad when they're coming off, but it's they can go on and off real easily. All right, we got the fender flares off. Now we're gonna work on getting the front grille off and front panels. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and take off these trail sight front accessory mount. So you don't have to take these screws here out, but the screws are actually going to be down here. You can use your Bronco socket driver, 10 millimeter, so it comes with your Bronco toolkit. And so you just take this one out here. And it just pops off. Alright guys, so I've kind of been jumping around getting a few different things done at a time, and I'm not really planning to show all the takedown parts, but whatever is relevant I will. So I'm going to go ahead and take the front doors off now, because that's the next step that's needed to get the front body panels off. So I've got the front grille and all the bolts out of the fender liners, and now I'm going to take the doors off, and then we'll remove the bolts from the actual fender or panels themselves, and that should be the last step to get the front fenders or front fender panels off. So we'll jump into that now. Alright, so got the front right fender off now. It wasn't too bad. There were a few screws that there was a few different size bolt heads on that. So not sure why they chose to do that, but a few of the ones that were actually hard to get to were smaller. But overall, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Pretty straightforward. And now you can see it's all off of there. So the next step for this side would be to fit on the fun haver kit. It's here, I haven't unpacked it yet. I'll do that shortly. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and get the other side panel off, and then we'll go from there and start fitting up the front. All right, got the camera moved. So now let's get this guy and get it on here. All right, if you guys can see now, so I drilled all these holes here. They recommend drilling a 5/16 to start with and then expanding from there. What I'm going to go ahead and do is you can see these sort of divots or indents here for each hole, and those actually match what's on the factory fenders or panels. So I'm going to actually go ahead and clean those up and make it about the size of these square or rectangular indents. And that's just because I've test fitted this once and I can tell it's pretty tight. So I think there's enough leeway to go ahead and clean that all the way out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. The other thing I did already is I drilled the holes on this back side for the sort of seal. See it in there, right? Drilled each of those out and fit that on, but I'll show the process of fitting that once I get the panel mounted. So now, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean out these holes a little bit more so that they'll fit, so we can get that leeway to fit the panel to the body. All right, let's go ahead and fit this right fender up now. Sort of what it looks like with the holes cleaned out. Yeah, so you can see here, kind of followed the rectangle indent, and hopefully that'll make it where you can adjust the, get the spacing and whatnot right a lot easier without it being too tight. So let's go ahead and try this out. Alright, so we got the front right fender on. Fitment is great so far. I haven't tightened it up totally yet. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the other side, get that one on, and then I'll fit them just to make sure that everything lines up correctly before I tighten it totally down. So yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. How the factory setup, Sasquatch setup looks with this kit. So if you look here, there's probably about an inch overhang, I would say. This fender in the front comes out about an inch further than factory Sasquatch fenders. So I've already got some new wheels ordered for this, and I'll probably get new tires as well. New wheels I ordered are a -12 offset, so they should bring that out a little bit to about flush or even a little bit further than flush. I think I saw a zero offset wheel. If you put that on with this kit, it's flush with the body panel for the Funhaver wide body kit. So I imagine that -12 is going to be a little bit of poke there on that once we get those new wheels on. But yeah, so far really happy with this. It's lining up really nicely. Fit is nice and tight, and everything's looking really good so far. Jump over and get the other side done, and we'll line them up for a final fitment. All right, so something that a problem I ran across getting these front body panels on is the windshield wiper reservoir. So you can see there at on that little corner there, it's sort of rubbing and hitting right there. And so this tank is preventing the fender from seating all the way back and getting a nice alignment. So I'm going to try to knock this down a little bit somehow without puncturing it. So let's see what I can do there. All right, we'll give that a try. Fit this guy back on there. All right, so I think I've basically got it on there pretty good now. You can see, once I put the hood down, you'll see a little better how it's lining up. But if you look here, you can see this gap here is pretty tight. It's fitting really nicely around the rear view mirror there, or the side mirror. Over here on this side, fits a lot better. You can actually totally close the gap here. So yeah, for whatever reason, it doesn't want to do that, but it shouldn't be totally closed anyway. So we'll get it about the same on both sides. Should line up pretty nice once we get this fastened. But basically, I figured out you want to try and get this corner hole in bolt back in first. Kind of get this where you want it, and then lock this one in. Because if you don't, I found that there were quite a few issues with getting it to line up if you start doing the front bolts first. So yeah, I got that locked in. So actually I noticed that this top corner piece was a little tall here on the top. So I trimmed that down. I'm going to try to re-fasten this corner now and kind of see how that works. I'm hoping it sort of does the trick. I'm going to trim a little bit more off of this. It looks better, but a little more will help. think it'll look pretty good now. Get it snug, and then I'll give it, kind of apply a lot of pressure there and bolt it into place. Alright. Yeah, it's a lot better now. Alright. This little tab right here is really thick right there, and you can see it's rubbing on the body right there, so I think that's actually what's also keeping it from pushing further in and closing this gap up here better. If we look at the other side real quick, so yeah, down there, right here is very thin. So I'm gonna trim that down a little, and hopefully that will help the issue be even less of an issue. So let's try that out real quick. It actually looks a lot closer to what the other side does now. So I think this is actually going to fit up pretty nice now. Let's trim this out just a little up here. Get it. Alright, that is really nice now. So you can see this gap here, really tight. It actually might be a little bit too tight, but we'll see. But it's much better than it was. So yeah, I made some really good progress there. So yeah, if you're installing this, definitely check this tab in this upper corner, and then the thickness of the tab, of this actual tab down here. We made it take some material off the back of it to get sort of that tight flush fit against the side of the body here. Now we've got that done, let's go ahead and get the rest of these bolts in, and we will get it lined up on the hood. Do that. You can see right away, this guy's got to come out just a little. So we got this right fender on now, or left, depending on how you're looking at it. And yeah, it's lined up pretty good. The fitment was a little tougher to get to on this side, and that's, like I said, due to the way there was some extra material on that upper corner piece, and also a little bit of the top of this corner here needed to be taken down. But yeah, it's fitted. I haven't put the door back on to see how that aligns. I'm hoping it aligns pretty well. We'll adjust it as needed, but it's fitted to the hood now at least, and it's a nice tight fit. Looks great. So I've got to get the trail sights mounted back on and the front grille as well. But my plan is to align it to the hood, and then I'll adjust it for the grille as needed, because I can just adjust the front for that, hopefully. So yeah, let's jump over to this other side now. I'm hoping this one is going to be a lot simpler. Go ahead and jump on that, get that aligned, and then I'm going to shift to the back and take the rear panel, quarter panels off, start fitting those. So I probably won't record that. Pretty straightforward. Just rip those off, and yeah, we'll take the same process, fit up the new body panels, and go from there. Alright guys, so we've got the front two body panels on now. On this side, everything went really smoothly. There were no difficulties getting this on. It lined up nice, and yeah, it went on really great. Here on the other side, I did have a little bit of issue getting it lined up, but you can see it really came out really nice. It's got a really good, the lines all look really good, and it's real tight with the body. So real happy there. I've got the back right passenger fender on in the rear. It also went on really smoothly, no issues so far. I haven't put the piece on the door yet, but I'll get to that soon. I've got the other side down or off on the back, and I'm getting ready to prep to put this gas tank insert on the fiberglass. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk through that. I haven't done it myself, but the instructions provided by Funhaver are pretty straightforward. So I'm hoping that it goes smoothly. So let's jump into that and get this gas cap mounted. All right, so we're gonna try this fitment now. A little tight before. Yeah, it's still not wanting to pop in there quite, so I'm gonna take a little more material off. See if that helps. All right, so we got the cap fitting now. Slides in there pretty smoothly. One note, be careful if you're trying to put too much force on it. This is a little bit, some sort of brittle metal it seems like, or maybe I don't know, a cast material or plastic. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I actually broke this little hinge right here. So I'll have to order a replacement cap for the outside, but luckily that can be unscrewed here and here and just replace the cap, so you don't need a whole new piece. I'll have to see about getting that replaced, but yeah, careful if you're trying to force it in there because it can break those little hinges that are here. Pretty small material there, so alright guys, we got the back left or driver's side quarter panel ready to mount now. So here it is. Got the gas cap mounted in there and the holes cut on the top. So we're gonna go ahead and set it up. And that is the last panel, and then we'll get the door pieces mounted after that. Alright guys, so we now have the entire kit installed minus the door panels, so little pieces that sort of mount on the outside of the door to continue this fender down here. I'm going to work on that now and I'll show you that process. But yeah, here is the entire kit installed now. Take a look at it. It looks really good. Like I said, all the lines really turned out good. It fits really tight. See, this is the other side. You can see all the connections are really nice. This is the back panels. Alright, so we've got the inner skin here. It's going to be mounted on the door. Now we're going to drill 4, 3, or 15 30-second holes in these indentations here. So we get 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you'll install the rivet nuts in those. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, kind of careful when you're drilling these because it does kind of like to get away from you if you're not careful. definitely better. If you notice, this hole went a lot smoother than these guys. I just went slower on it. So come with the kit. Rivet nuts. Should just pop right in. Alright, we've got all of these in now, all the rivet nuts in, so we're going to go ahead and drill the outer skins now. Alright, let's go ahead. This is a 1/4 inch bit drill within these indentations, roughly in the center. Got these drilled, and now it's time to fit the inner skins to the outer skins. So to do that, essentially do just like that. So I got these inner and outer fender door pieces attached now. This one on the passenger side went really smoothly. It looks great. It's tight and it lines up good on the vehicle. Now the one on the driver's side ran into an issue. I don't know if I didn't drill the holes right or what, but you can see that there's a pretty good gap here. So I'm gonna have to take this back off and sort of adjust those holes. See if we can fix this. But right now, it's definitely not going to work the way it is because there'll be a really big gap between the door and this piece. Take these off and see if we can fix it. 2 door skins or door mounted pieces ready. I put some of the 3M adhesive promoter on there that came with the kit. Put it on the outline of this interior black piece here that gets mounted on the door. And then I drilled these 3 holes, 3/16 bit for mounting, riveting this to the door. This is optional, obviously. It is recommended, but if you're not going to, you don't plan to keep this kit on your vehicle, then you may not want to do that, as obviously it's going to put holes in your door. So now I'm going to go ahead and place the 3M tape around the exterior of this black piece, and then around, put a piece on each of the holes that I drilled. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll get them mounted on the vehicle. All right, there's that one. Let's go ahead and do the next. All right, guys, I've got this piece ready to mount up now, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And fingers crossed it fits nicely. So backside off of the 3M double-sided tape. Initially I messed up in the line of it here. It's actually supposed to just go on the inside of this only and not here. This won't hurt anything, but you definitely need this line here. So you really just want to line it up with the body line here and then adjust it. Just put it lightly on there and then move it as you need to. So try not to Alright, so I'm seeing here is this line actually needs to be adjusted some. So you can see right here, this guy needs to be cut to better match the contour of the door. So sorry about that, camera cut out while I was doing this and I didn't notice, but so here it is mounted. I'm not really happy with the way it's on there. It's sort of not sticking for one thing, and then there's a lot of gaps. So I'm gonna take the outer piece off and try and do a little more work on this, getting it to sit better. And hopefully that will fix things and whatnot. But otherwise, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Definitely could use a little bit of fit and finish here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and get this other side mounted now. For the other side, I'll show you here in a second, but I didn't really like the way that they're telling us the instructions said to mount this. That only put the 3M on the interior skin. What happens is there's really a gap here between this and the body. And so I'm thinking what I need to do is put some 3M here as well, but I'll wait until it's painted first to do that. So if you saw the last clip, it kind of switched to this now, and you'll notice everything looks a whole lot different, and that's because it is. I was basically in that last clip going over installing these door pieces of the fender, and I got really frustrated with it, and that's mainly due to it being two separate pieces. So you had to fit the inner skin onto the door, and then you had to make sure that the outer section also fit to the door. So it essentially made it very difficult to get it lined up correctly, at least to my standards. So I decided to go ahead. I knew I was going to have to get some paint work and body work done before I had it painted. And so I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm just going to take the whole thing with the door pieces and have it fitted professionally. So that's exactly what I did. I took it to a local body shop and they fitted up nicely. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. And I'm purposely not showing much of it now because I'm going to do a reveal video, which will be next week. So stay tuned for that. We've made a lot of changes entirely, including the body kit. So I'll definitely share all of those upgrades soon. It turned out really good. I'm very happy with the kit. It looks great. In fact, the day after I had it completed on the paint, I was driving. I literally had another Bronco flag me down on the road and asked me what this kit was, where I got it from, etc. So it's definitely a really popular kit. It looks great, and yeah, it's I really can't say enough good things about it. So definitely, if you're in the market for an aftermarket solution for the fenders, definitely give this a consideration. So again, it's the Fun Haver off-road kit, which I'm sure most of you guys are aware of. But yeah, so stay tuned for an updated video coming out, building the entire build, and also the plans going forward after. So the one thing I didn't do is install fender flares or fender liner for the kit, and that's mainly due to two reasons. One being that Fun Haver's fender liner solution was sold out and I didn't buy it at the time, or it's sold out now and I didn't buy it at the time that I bought the kit or the rest of the kit, and so I don't have those. And then secondly, from the people that have installed them, they're not really a direct fit. There seems to be actually a lot of work involved in getting them to fit. So I'm going to go a different route, and I've got that planned out and some of the pieces purchased for that, so I'm really going to do my own solution there. So I'll be recording that and posting a video of it as well. And yeah, I'm going to do some external lights. I did upgrade the wheels and tires. I'll talk about that during the reveal video. And yeah, so that's about it for now. It's going to wrap this video up. This is recorded over a couple of months, so forgive the abrupt changes in recording and different pieces and whatnot throughout the video, but I tried to put together a sort of video that explained the install process for this kit, and it is actually a lot of work getting it fitted and all of that stuff. So if you enjoy that kind of work, I definitely recommend at least doing the front or the rear and front quarter panel. It's a great experience. I would highly recommend getting professional help installing the door pieces, unless you want to give that a try too. It's not impossible, but I wanted them to fit right and I didn't want to mess them up. So I decided to get them professionally installed, and then any kind of fiberglass kit is going to need body work before you paint it. There's a lot of waves and whatnot in it, so they'll need to fix that before they paint it, or else it will show up in your paint job. So that's another consideration. So yeah, overall, very happy with the kit and look forward to a full reveal video. Thank you guys for watching, and definitely let me know if you have any questions.